Have you ever walked into a room, stood there for a moment, and completely forgotten what you came in for? Maybe you've misplaced your glasses only to find them sitting right on top of your head. Or perhaps you're in the middle of telling a story to your grandchildren, and suddenly the next word just won't come. If you've had moments like these, I want you to know you are not alone. These little slips of memory are something many of my patients over 60 talk about with me during visits. It can feel frustrating, even scary, to wonder if these forgetful moments mean something more. You might sit at your kitchen table with a cup of coffee in the morning and ask yourself, am I losing my memory for good? I want you to take a deep breath and relax because there are real practical things you can do every single day to keep your memory strong and your mind sharp. Memory loss is not an automatic part of aging. Yes, our brains change as we get older, but that doesn't mean decline is inevitable. Just like we strengthen our muscles with exercise, we can also strengthen our brains with the right daily habits. So, imagine this with me. You walk into that same room, and instead of forgetting why you went in, you remember exactly what you came for. You sit down with your grandkids and not only finish your story, you tell it with such detail and clarity that they hang on to every word. That's the kind of sharpness I want for you, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to get there. Welcome, my friends. I'm so glad you're here with me today. If you're over 50, especially if you've crossed 60, keeping your memory sharp is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Your independence, your joy, your relationships, all of these depend on a healthy mind. And the best part? You don't need fancy equipment, expensive supplements, or extreme routines. You just need simple, consistent steps that fit into your daily life. In this video, I'm going to share powerful research-backed tips that will help you protect your brain and reduce memory loss. We'll talk about food, movement, mental habits, and even how your emotions play a role. By the end, you'll have a clear plan to start using today. So pour yourself a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive right into the steps that will keep your brain strong for years to come. One of the most important steps you can take is to keep your body moving. When you exercise, you're not only strengthening your heart and muscles, you're also improving the blood flow to your brain. More blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients, which your brain needs to function at its best. You don't need to join a gym or run marathons. A simple daily walk around your neighborhood, maybe with a friend or even your dog, can make a world of difference. I have patients who started with just 10 minutes a day, and within weeks they noticed they could think more clearly, recall names faster, and even sleep better at night. Another powerful tool is the food you put on your plate. Your brain thrives on healthy fats, antioxidants, and nutrients that protect your cells. Think about foods like salmon, walnuts, blueberries, spinach, and olive oil. These are often called brain foods for good reason. I often tell my patients to picture their plate as medicine. Each colorful fruit or vegetable is feeding their memory. Next time you're at the grocery store, reach for that basket of berries instead of cookies. Small swaps add up to big changes in how your brain functions. Sleep is another area that often gets overlooked. Many seniors tell me they just get by on a few hours of rest. But the truth is, your brain does its housekeeping at night. While you're sleeping, your brain clears out toxins and files away the memories of the day. Without enough sleep, that process gets disrupted. If you're waking up groggy or feeling foggy during the day, it may be your brain telling you it needs more rest. Simple nighttime habits like dimming the lights, turning off the TV an hour before bed, and keeping a consistent bedtime can help you fall asleep more naturally and wake up refreshed. Now let's talk about mental exercise. Just like your body, your brain needs challenges to stay strong. Reading a new book, learning a skill, playing a musical instrument, or even trying out puzzles can all keep your mind engaged. I once had a patient in her 70s who decided to take up painting. She told me she felt her memory sharpen, her stress melt away, and her joy return. It wasn't just the painting itself, it was the act of learning something new that lit up her brain. Of course, memory is not just about diet and activity. Emotional health plays a huge role. Loneliness, stress, and sadness can weigh heavily on the brain. Staying connected to loved ones, joining community groups, volunteering, or even talking with neighbors can help keep your mind active and your heart full. Humans are social creatures, and our brains respond positively to laughter, conversations, and shared moments. And let me share something that surprises many of my patients. Hydration is critical for memory. Even mild dehydration can make you feel foggy and forgetful. As we age, our sense of thirst decreases, so we may not feel like drinking water, but your brain still needs it. Keeping a water bottle nearby and sipping throughout the day can keep your memory sharper than you might expect. Day by day, these small habits build up. You may not notice a difference overnight, but give it a few weeks. Suddenly, you're remembering appointments without writing them down, you're recalling the names of friends more easily, and you're enjoying conversations without that frustrating pause when a word slips away. Another key area to focus on is protecting your heart, because what's good for your heart is also good for your brain. High blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol all take a toll on memory over time. When your blood vessels are healthy, they carry oxygen and nutrients to your brain more efficiently. I often tell my patients that every step they take to care for their heart, whether it's walking after dinner, choosing grilled chicken instead of fried, or practicing relaxation to lower stress, also protects their memory. Imagine your brain as a garden. When the blood flow is steady and clean, your memory blossoms. When it's clogged or restricted, the garden struggles. Now let's talk about technology and its role in memory. Many of my senior patients tell me they worry that relying on reminders in their phone or sticky notes around the house might weaken their brain. The truth is, using tools to stay organized is not a weakness. It's wisdom. Think of it like wearing glasses. Glasses don't make your eyes weaker, they help you function better. Similarly, writing down a grocery list or setting a calendar reminder frees your brain from small, forgettable tasks so it can focus on more meaningful memories, like the stories you share with family or the new hobby you're learning. Speaking of hobbies, creativity has an incredible impact on memory health. Activities like painting, gardening, knitting, or even woodworking engage multiple areas of your brain at once. When you're measuring soil for a flower bed or choosing the right color of yarn for a scarf, you're strengthening pathways that keep your memory active. One gentleman I cared for started playing the piano at 68. He told me that not only did he feel sharper, but the joy of music also lifted his mood every single day. His family noticed the difference too. He became more alert, more talkative, and more confident. We should also mention stress. Stress hormones, especially cortisol, can cloud memory and shrink areas of the brain responsible for learning. In today's busy world, even in retirement, stress can creep in, whether it's financial worries, health concerns, or family responsibilities. Taking a few minutes each day to breathe deeply, pray, meditate, or simply sit quietly with a cup of tea can calm your nervous system. Imagine your brain like a snow globe. When stress shakes it up, everything feels cloudy. But when you pause, breathe, and let the snow settle, your thoughts and memories come back into focus. Don't underestimate the power of music. Listening to songs from your younger years can instantly bring back vivid memories. I've seen patients with memory struggles light up when a familiar tune plays. Music activates different areas of the brain, and it can help keep connections strong. Try putting on your favorite oldies playlist while you cook or tidy up around the house. It's not only enjoyable, it's therapeutic for your brain. Finally, I want to remind you about purpose. Having a sense of purpose, whether it's caring for a grandchild, volunteering at a local food pantry, mentoring younger people, or tending to your garden, creates meaning that stimulates the mind. Purpose keeps us engaged, and engagement keeps memory alive. One of my patients who volunteers at her church's library told me, "Doctor, it's not just about helping others. I feel like I'm helping myself stay sharp too." And she's right. Her sense of purpose gives her energy, focus, and joy, all of which protect her memory. Another area I encourage my patients to think about is lifelong learning. Your brain loves to be challenged. Think of it like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens, but if you keep stretching it, it grows stronger. Now, this doesn't mean you need to sign up for a college course, though some of my patients do, and they love it. It can be as simple as picking up a new recipe, learning to use a new app on your phone, or even trying a different route when you take your daily walk. These little changes push your brain to adapt, and adaptation is what keeps memory sharp. I'll share a story. One of my patients, a 72-year-old grandmother, decided she was going to learn Spanish because her granddaughter was taking it in school. They studied together a few evenings a week, and not only did her memory improve, but the bond with her granddaughter grew stronger. That's the beauty of brain health. When you invest in it, you're also investing in relationships and experiences. Now, let's talk about nutrition a bit more deeply. Beyond just brain foods, it's about balance. Too much sugar, for example, can cause spikes and crashes that affect how your brain processes information. I often see patients who complain about feeling foggy in the afternoon. And once we look at their diet, we discover a sugary breakfast or heavy processed snack was to blame. Switching to oatmeal with berries or a handful of almonds instead of cookies can smooth out energy and give the brain steady fuel. Hydration is equally important. A small dip in hydration can feel like a big dip in memory. I encourage my older patients to carry a water bottle or even flavor their water with a slice of lemon or cucumber if plain water feels boring. One gentleman I treated used to get headaches and had trouble concentrating. Once he started making a habit of drinking more water, those headaches faded, and his wife even commented that he seemed more present in conversations. Sometimes the simplest changes bring the biggest results. Let's also touch on social connection. The brain is wired for interaction. Isolation is one of the biggest threats to memory health, and unfortunately, many seniors face loneliness. That's why I encourage finding small but meaningful ways to connect. It could be a regular phone call with a friend, joining a book club at the local library, or even chatting with neighbors on the porch. Each of those conversations is like exercise for your brain. I often say, laughter is medicine, but conversation is fertilizer for your memory. It makes those pathways stronger and keeps your mind engaged. And here's something interesting: gratitude practices. Research shows that when we reflect on what we're thankful for, it not only boosts our mood, but also strengthens parts of the brain tied to focus and recall. Before bed, you might jot down 3 things you're grateful for that day. It could be as simple as a good meal, a call from a loved one, or the beauty of a sunset. These reflections settle your mind and create positive associations that your brain loves to revisit. Another tool is limiting multitasking. We live in a world that encourages doing 3 things at once: watching TV while scrolling the phone while half listening to a conversation. But the brain remembers best when it gives full attention. Next time you're talking to a friend or cooking a meal, try focusing fully on that one activity. You'll notice not only less stress, but also stronger, clearer memories. Finally, don't forget nature. Spending time outdoors, whether it's gardening, sitting on a park bench, or taking a short hike, stimulates the senses and refreshes the mind. Sunlight helps regulate your sleep cycle. The sounds of birds reduce stress, and the act of moving in fresh air recharges the brain. I had a patient who began walking in her local park every morning, just to watch the sunrise. She told me, "It's like my brain wakes up with the sun." That ritual sharpened her memory and lifted her spirits at the same time. One area I always highlight with my patients is limiting alcohol and avoiding smoking. These 2 habits directly affect brain cells. Even moderate drinking can slow down memory recall over time, and smoking restricts blood flow, starving the brain of oxygen. I once had a patient in his mid-60s who quit smoking after 4 decades. Within a year, not only did his lungs improve, but he told me he felt clearer, like a mental fog had lifted. His wife noticed he was remembering small details again, like what errands she had mentioned in the morning. That's the kind of turnaround that can happen when we protect our brain from harmful habits. Now, let's look at routine. Our brains thrive on patterns. When you create consistent daily habits like waking up at the same time, eating meals at regular intervals, and having a nighttime wind-down routine, your brain spends less energy figuring things out. That extra energy can then go toward memory and focus. Many seniors I see who complain about forgetfulness don't actually have a memory problem. They have a routine problem. Once they structure their day more consistently, the forgetfulness often improves. Something else to consider is vision and hearing. If you can't clearly see or hear the world around you, your brain struggles to process information, and that makes remembering harder. I've had patients come in worried about memory loss, but once they got the right pair of glasses or updated their hearing aids, suddenly their memory improved. It wasn't their brain failing, it was their senses not delivering the information properly in the first place. So keeping up with eye exams and hearing checks is a form of brain care too. Let's also talk about medication. Many older adults are on several prescriptions, and some of them can cause side effects like brain fog or forgetfulness. I always encourage patients to bring in a full list of what they are taking so we can review it together. Sometimes a simple adjustment, changing the timing of a pill, lowering the dose, or switching to an alternative, can bring clarity back. If you've noticed changes in your memory after starting a new medication, don't ignore it. Bring it up with your doctor. Another piece that often surprises people is the role of faith and spirituality. Prayer, meditation, or attending a service stimulates calm, focus, and connection. I've seen patients who light a candle every evening and spend a few quiet minutes reflecting on their day. That ritual not only grounds them emotionally, but also gives their brain a consistent anchor point, something the mind loves. Whether it's faith, mindfulness, or simply gratitude, these practices settle the mind and strengthen memory. And don't underestimate playfulness. Yes, even at 60, 70, or 80, having fun is essential. Playing cards with friends, telling jokes, or even trying out a new board game keeps the brain agile. One couple in their 70s told me they started a weekly game night with neighbors, and not only did it bring laughter, but they found themselves sharper and quicker in conversation. Fun is fuel for the brain, too. Now I want you to imagine the bigger picture. Every healthy meal, every walk in the park, every laugh with a friend, every glass of water, every puzzle or book, all of these little moments are like deposits into your brain's memory bank. The more you put in, the more interest it earns, and the more you can draw from it in the years to come. That's how you build a strong, resilient memory, not overnight, but steadily day by day. One thing I emphasize often is the power of curiosity. Curiosity is like a spark for the brain. When you stay curious, your brain is constantly creating new connections. This might mean asking more questions, exploring a new topic, or even watching a documentary instead of the same old TV rerun. I had a patient in her late 60s who became fascinated with astronomy. She started reading about the stars, joined a local stargazing club, and even bought a small telescope. She told me that learning about constellations gave her a sense of wonder again, and her family noticed she seemed sharper and more engaged in everyday conversations. Curiosity, in that sense, is fuel for memory. Another helpful habit is mindful eating. Too often, meals are rushed or distracted by screens. But when you sit down, really taste your food, notice its smell, its texture, its flavors, you're giving your brain a workout in awareness. Studies show that mindful eating not only helps digestion, but also supports better memory. One gentleman I cared for began saying a short blessing before meals, then slowing down to enjoy each bite. He later told me, "Doctor, I not only remember what I ate, I enjoy it more." That level of presence trains the brain to focus and recall details. We also can't ignore the role of nature's rhythm. Sunlight exposure helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which directly impacts sleep and, in turn, memory. Spending just 20 minutes outside in the morning light can set your body clock, improve mood, and sharpen recall. I had a retired teacher who made a ritual of drinking her coffee on the porch each morning as the sun rose. She noticed not only better sleep, but also that she was remembering her daily tasks without sticky notes. Sometimes the most natural remedies are right outside our doors. Now let's think about resilience. Life brings challenges: illness, loss, unexpected changes. How you respond to those challenges affects your memory health, too. Stress can cloud the brain, but resilience, the ability to adapt and recover, protects it. Seniors who practice resilience through faith, gratitude, or strong social ties often maintain sharper minds. One man in his 70s lost his wife, and though grief was heavy, he leaned on his church community, stayed active in gardening, and continued volunteering at the local library. His resilience didn't erase the pain, but it gave his brain a steady anchor that kept his memory strong through a difficult season. And I must mention, laughter. Humor is more than entertainment. It's medicine for the brain. When you laugh, your body lowers stress hormones and releases feel-good chemicals that protect memory. Watching a comedy, telling jokes with friends, or even laughing at yourself when you forget something lightens the load. I always tell my patients, don't be afraid to laugh at the little forgetful moments. They're part of being human. Lastly, let's talk about intentional rest. Rest is not just sleep, it's pausing throughout the day to let the brain breathe. Taking a short nap, Sitting quietly with soft music, or even closing your eyes for 5 minutes after lunch can reset your mental energy. I once had a patient who resisted naps thinking they were lazy. But when she allowed herself a gentle 20-minute rest in the afternoon, her memory improved and she had more energy for evening activities. Rest is like giving your brain a fresh start in the middle of the day. All of these practices, curiosity, mindfulness, sunlight, resilience, laughter, and rest, work together like threads in a quilt. Alone, each one helps a little. Woven together, they create something strong, comforting, and lasting. That's how memory is built in later years. Not with one magic pill, but with many small, meaningful choices. Another powerful habit is storytelling. Telling your own life stories to others, whether it's with family, friends, or even in a journal, keeps memory sharp. When you recall events, describe details, and share emotions, you're exercising multiple parts of your brain. One of my patients, an 80-year-old grandfather, began recording little stories from his childhood on a voice recorder for his grandkids. Not only did his memory stay sharp, but his grandchildren said they felt like they knew him in a deeper way. Storytelling connects generations and preserves memory for both you and your loved ones. Let's also talk about the brain-gut connection. More research is showing that the health of your digestive system impacts memory and mood. Eating fiber-rich foods, yogurt, or fermented foods like sauerkraut helps keep your gut bacteria balanced, which in turn supports brain function. I had a woman in her late 60s who struggled with foggy thinking. Once she shifted to a diet rich in vegetables, beans, and probiotics, her clarity improved. And she told me, "Doctor, it's like someone turned the lights back on." Another overlooked factor is posture. Believe it or not, how you carry yourself affects oxygen flow and energy levels. When we slump, the lungs don't expand fully and the brain gets less oxygen. Standing tall and breathing deeply while walking or even sitting at the table can give your brain the fuel it needs to think clearly. Try it right now. Straighten your back, roll your shoulders, take a slow, deep breath. That extra oxygen is nourishment for your memory. Now, think about variety. Doing the same thing every day may feel comfortable, but it doesn't challenge the brain. Add little changes. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, rearrange the furniture, try a new recipe, or listen to a podcast on a topic you've never explored. These mini challenges make the brain build new connections, and those connections strengthen memory. One of my patients, who always read mystery novels, decided to try history books instead. She told me she felt her curiosity reignite and even remembered details more vividly when chatting with friends. Another piece of the puzzle is avoiding isolation through technology. Many seniors are hesitant about video calls or smartphones, but I remind them these tools can keep them connected. I had a patient who lived alone and rarely saw her children, but once she learned how to use video chat, she had dinner with her family across the country every Sunday. Her mood improved, her memory sharpened, and she felt less lonely. Using technology wisely can be a lifeline for your brain. And let's not forget creative outlets that combine movement and thought. Dancing, for instance, is one of the best brain exercises because it links rhythm, memory, coordination, and joy all at once. Even a simple line dance at a senior center or swaying in the living room to your favorite song counts. A couple in their late 70s told me they started ballroom dancing once a week. Not only did it bring them laughter and closeness, but their children noticed how much sharper their parents seemed in day-to-day conversations. Dance is joy in motion, and joy is brain food. Finally, consider kindness. Acts of kindness release feel-good chemicals in the brain that protect against memory decline. Volunteering, helping a neighbor, or even offering a smile to a stranger strengthens your brain by creating positive connections. One of my patients, who delivers meals to other seniors once a week, told me, "I thought I was helping them, but I think they're helping me stay alive and alert." That's the secret. What we give to others, we also give to ourselves. Every one of these habits, storytelling, gut health, posture, variety, technology, dancing, kindness, are like puzzle pieces. And when you put the pieces together, you don't just get a sharper memory, you get a fuller, richer life. As we've walked through these steps together, I hope you can see something very important. Keeping your memory strong after 60 is not about chasing perfection. It's about building a rhythm of small, steady habits that nurture your brain day after day. We've talked about how movement, food choices, sleep, social connections, curiosity, creativity, laughter, and even simple gratitude can become medicine for the mind. None of these require expensive treatments or complicated programs. They are already within your reach, woven into the daily life you're living right now. Think about it this way. Every time you take a walk around the block, every time you choose a handful of berries over a bag of chips, every time you sit down to tell a story to your grandchild or laugh with a neighbor, you are feeding your brain strength. You are investing in your independence, your joy, and your future. That's powerful. I know life at this stage comes with challenges. Some mornings you may feel stiff, tired, or even a little foggy, but you have more control than you realize. The choices you make today can brighten your tomorrow, and it's never too late to start. I've seen people in their 70s and 80s make changes and feel the difference within weeks. I want you to picture yourself 6 months from now. Imagine waking up rested, remembering your plans for the day without effort, sharing a lively story at the dinner table, or simply feeling sharper and more confident in your own mind. That future is possible. It doesn't happen overnight, but each small step adds up. Just as a garden grows one seed at a time, your brain grows stronger with each intentional choice. You have the ability to plant those seeds right now, so be encouraged. Celebrate the progress you've already made and keep leaning forward. Your brain is alive, adaptable, and waiting for you to nurture it. You are not too old, it is not too late, and your best days of mental clarity and joy can still be ahead of you. My friends, thank you for spending this time with me today. I know your time is precious and it means a lot that you chose to share it here, investing in your health and your future. I want you to leave this video feeling hopeful, empowered, and ready to take that next step, whether it's pouring yourself a glass of water, going for a short walk, or calling a loved one just to say hello. Each little action matters, and I believe in you. If you found today's message helpful, I'd be honored if you would stay connected with me here. You can like this video, share a comment about which habit you're going to start with, and subscribe so you don't miss the next time we gather for another conversation about your health. It's a simple way we can keep learning and encouraging each other together. Until we meet again, I wish you good health, restful nights, joyful connections, and a mind that stays bright and strong. Take care of yourself, be gentle with your days, and remember, you are never alone on this journey. I'll see you soon.